Yes. Good morning, participants, and on behalf of our institution, and I cordially welcome Dr. Florence ma'am for the uh, today's session on timer and counter instruction of PLC. A brief introduction about ma'am. Ma'am is having more than 12 years of experience in teaching profession. Uh, she is working as a assistant professor in Pondicherry Engineering College, and she had published more than five journals in international journals, and she has published more than eight conference papers in national and international levels. And she has also organized a TechCube Phase 2 sponsored recent advances in process modeling and control optimization techniques, FTP. And she is in charge of many organizing committee in Pondicherry Engineering College. And we are fortunate to have ma'am for this session, and I request ma'am to proceed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank the principal of giving me this opportunity to deliver this lecture. I'd also like to thank the HOD of EC department as well as the coordinator of this event, Dr. Sendularsu sir, for giving us this giving me this opportunity. So I will move on to the presentation. Shall I start, sir?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Should the video be on or shall I off it?
Your choice, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to see about PLC timers and counters here. So already we've started seeing about PLCs. This course is fully about PLCs. So you will have lots of information that you have gathered till now in PLCs. So today's topic is going to be about how to use timers and counters in PLCs. So before that, one small line about PLC. PLC is computer control of process. PLC is a computer control of process, and this computer control of process will allow us to get more to make the industrial working to be automated. So this advantage is available when we are going for the PLCs. Instead of normally, if you take industries, means they go for you have lots of wiring to be done in industries, but these wirings will make the setup more complicated. So there's a need for reducing these wirings. Okay, so that reducing of wirings is possible with the help of PLCs, where you have a processing device and one input device will be connected to the front of it, and you'll be having the output device, where this processing device will take care of all the requirement with the help of PLC programmings. So when you take PLC programmings, there are a lot of vendors, lot of people, lot of automation industries which work a lot on making this coming into existence. And among them is the Siemens as well as Allen Bradley. The Siemens PLC industries, they normally if you see most of the vendors worldwide if you see, means they'll be making use of, there's a competition between the Allen Bradley and the Siemens. So when PLC started, PLC was started in the year 1969 by Dick Morley. So Dick Morley only started this PLC, And from that time onwards, if you see means more than 50 industrial vendors are available for PLCs, famous vendors. Out of that, always there's a competition between this Siemens and Broadley. Uh, if you take the difference between the Allen and AB and the Siemens means their reliability for Siemens both are dependent. Both can be dependent for any type of automation to be done. And but Allen Bradley for Siemens, we have to make use of their power supplies. Their racks can support only those power supplies. That is Allen Bradley's thing. But if you take Siemens means even a normal 24-volt power supply, DC power supply from externally can be supported if you take Siemens. And this Allen Bradley will support the American IPs, but Siemens will support the European IPs like Modbus, Profibus, all these will be supported. And if you take Allen Bradley means programming is very easy. Programming is very easy, and managing and controlling it is also easier. But when it comes to PLC, Siemens type PLC means program for simple programmings, you can program it. For simple programmings, it is easier. But when it comes to complex programmings, it becomes difficult to work with Siemens. You have to have some knowledge. Then only you can work with Siemens type. And Allen Bradley is quite expensive when compared to the Siemens type of products. And if you take both these choices are pretty good when you're going to work for any business applications, and both can be communicated also. Okay, so there's a modem available to communicate these two. And with that introduction about the famous vendors available for PLCs, we'll go on to this task. Okay, so we'll move on to this task now. So this task is write a program that starts a conveyor belt. So you have a conveyor belt that has to start after 5 seconds when a push button is pressed. So after you press a push button, the conveyor belt should start only after 5 seconds. And for this, if you Siemens, you can make use of light or buzzer as an indicator. And after the conveyor belt stops, after the conveyor belt starts, after the conveyor belt starts, then turn off the LED. Okay. As soon as the conveyor belt starts to running, you have to turn off the light. So this is the requirement. So normally when you're going to work with this, there are different ways by which PLC programming can be done. So one method of writing it is using the ladder logic. So ladder logics can be used to program it. So when you're going to use the ladder logic, according to this question, for this question, you have a push button. You have the push button. So here, first thing, if you Siemens, you have different inputs available. You have the different inputs available. The first input that is available means you have the start button. You have the start button. So while writing a PLC program, first PLCs will be having the processing device, and here in this side will be having the input device. Okay, so you will be having the input modules, and here you'll be having the output modules. And here you'll be having your processing device. So here that's the interface between the input. From that you'll be getting the output. So you have to have idea about what input you're going to deal with, and then what is output you're going to get. So for the start button, when you're going to use the start button, some inputs, say I'm going to use X0 as my start button. We are going to use X0 to be the start button means. For stop button, next is the stop button. So for stop button, I'm going to use X1 to be the stop button. So I'm going to use X1 to be stop button means. So these two buttons are required. These two buttons are required according to the question task given. And for this task, next if you see means we have to tell about the outputs. We have to tell about the outputs. So when it comes to the output devices, output modules, when we speak about the output modules, this task has a conveyor belt. This has a conveyor belt. So for this, we require a motor. Motor is required to move the belt. So that is going to be taken as output Y0. And they've asked to indicate a LED also, LED along with that, a lighting for that. So that is going to be taken as a Y1. And then one more lamp. That's all. Only, yes, a buzzer, use a buzzer or light as an indicator. So that's all. It's only one buzzer. So I'm going to use only Y1 as the output devices. So intermediate to that, I have to make use of something that gives me 5 seconds delay. 5 seconds delay. For that, I make use of a timer. A timer is used here. And this timer, I'm going to make use of timer's variable of V0. T0 is going to be used. So here, when I'm going to use this, I can write my program in any means. I can write my program in any means. But for this example, I'm going to make a ladder diagram to write my programming. Okay. So initially, I will be making use of a start button. Start button will be used. So X0 is my start button. So according to my assumptions, X0 is my start button. X1 is my stop button. So X0 is my start button, and I'm going to use X1 to be the stop button. And this X1 should momentarily activate a coil, M0. M0 will be activated. But when I press the stop button, this should be activated. If I press the stop button, it should go to the off state. Otherwise, this should remain in the on state. So what I do is that this I put in the normally closed condition. This X1 stop button is put in the normally closed condition and X0 is put in the normally open condition. But if it is a switch, if it is going to be a switch means I can use it as it is. If X0 and X1 are switches means I can use it as it is. But here it is not a switch. It is not a switch. The question given is it is a push button. It is a push button. So push buttons, if you see, means only when you press it, it is activated. Once you take your hand out, it gets released. So that should be, this data should be continuously sealed. It's continuously sealed. So for that, we'll be making use of a sealing contact. Sealing contact with making use of M0 as a sealing contact. So M0 will be used as a sealing contact. So what happens here is that even if I push my, if I give a press to my start button, so this goes to the close state. This goes to the close state. And if I can consider that supply is going to flow through this line. So it's going to flow through this M0 is going to get excited. M0 is going to get excited. But when I take my hand out, this will go to the open state. This will go to the open state. My start button goes to the open state and M0 will go to the off state. M0 goes to the off state. So to continuously seal it, I have to make use of a sealing contact. So that is what we have done here in this M0. So for that we have given this M0 as a sealing contact. So this contact is called as a sealing contact, which is used in PLCs, And after that, what we are going to do is that next we have to speak about, now start button and stop button is over. Next, the next statement is that once I push my start button, that is my M0. Now it is M0. What happens is that the timer should go to the on state. The timer T0 should go to the on state for a duration of say 5 seconds. For a duration of say 5 seconds. And once this timer goes to the on state, Again, I'm going to make use of M naught should be used in every rung hereafter. Then only if I stop this, all the rungs will go to the stop state. So M naught should be used everywhere, and this is excited. During that time, if my T naught is going to be also put to on state, during that time my output coil should be excited. My output coil, that is my conveyor belt, that is my motor conveyor belt, motor should be excited. Okay. And so once after, so initially if you say means it will be in the off state. So after 5 seconds, T naught will go to the high state. So when T naught goes to the high state, this T naught will get energized. So already if you press this start button, N naught will also be energized, and because of this, these two will get energized, and my conveyor belt will go to the on state. So once my next statement is that once this conveyor belt goes to the on state, the LED should go to the off state. So for this, I'm going to make use of one more rung with M naught, where I'm going to connect my T naught in the normally closed state. So initially, once I press the start button, since T naught is in the normally closed state, this LED, this light or the LED will be indicating, will be in the glowing state, itself. But once once this conveyor belt, this time of 5 seconds is over, after that, what happens is that when this time is getting over, this will go to the normally closed state, and this one will go to the normally open state. So this will go to the open state. Even if my start button is on, means these M naught will be closed state. So my conveyor belt will be in the on state. This will be in the on state. But since this is open, this path, if you see, means this T naught is open here, my LED will go to the off state. So all my LED will not be in. So like this, we can program. A simple program can be written with help of PLCs by little bit of logical thinking. If you just read the statement, each and every word, you'll be able to solve any type of industrial problems by writing programs like this. Okay, so this is about the conveyor belt. So, are you able to see the screen? Is there any network issues? Is the screen? Are you able to see the screen, sir? Sir, is the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. You can view, ma'am.
Okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am. You can proceed.
Okay. So for the same a timer here, for the same timer, I can make use of relays that are normally open. At the same time, make use of relays that are normally closed. See, I'm using a timer T naught. The timer I'm using here as a normally open type. For this itself, I'm making use of a relay that is normally closed. So this is what I want to make you to understand. If you take a timer, so if you take a timer means here this timers can be off. So this timer can be a on delay timer. This timer can be a on delay timer, or it can be of a off delay timer. So we can make use of on delay timers also, or we can make use of the off delay timers. This can be used. So whichever timer we are going to use, we can use this as a normally open type or as a normally closed type. And here also, if we take off delay timers, this can be used as a normally open type, or it can be used as a normally closed type. So based on our requirement, we make use of different combinations of timers. Different combinations of timers will be used. So this timer is called as NOTC, and this is called as the NCTO. That is normally closed timed open. And this one is called as the normally open timed open. And the last one is called as the normally closed timed closed. Normally closed and timed closed. So when we go for this normally open, is that the contact is open. Here in this case, your contact will be open when the coil is de-energized. And when you're going to energize it, after some time delay, the contact will close. Here, if you see means, initially if you see means, the contact will be for a normally closed type. For a normal timed open, initially the contact closed. Will be closed, and when it is in the de-energized state. When the coil is de-energized, it will be in the closed state. But when you're going to energize the relay, then the timer goes to the opening. Timer will go to the open state. For the off delay times, here it is going to be normally it's going to be normally open type. Normally it is going to be open type, a de-energized, and when the coil is energized, instantaneously the contact closes. And after time delay, if you see means, the contact will open. And this one is the normally closed timed contact. Okay, so these 4 contacts are available. Going to times. Example of a NOTC and its timing diagram. Here, when I'm going to when my switch is going to in the open state, means when a switch S1 is going to be in the open state, my TD is de-energized. TD is going to be de-energized, and so this TD1 will be open. And because of that, my lamp will be in the off state. Now, if I'm going to close my switch, if I'm going to close my switch, in that case, a closed path is created here, and TD will be energized. If TD is going to be energized, this is a timed delay part. So upon the delay, for example, and we are going to give a time delay of 10 seconds means, so for a time of 10 seconds, it will be in the off state itself. This TD1 will close, putting the lamp in the on state. So here I'm going to give an input here. Once when I put my switch S1 to the closed state, my switch is going to go to the closed state. Here, if you see means, but my output is always off. My lamp is in the off state only. But after 10 seconds delay, after I give a delay of 10 seconds, this is going to go to the on state. This LED will be, this light will go to the on state. So this is possible if I'm going to make use of NOTC type of relays. Similarly, for the on delay timer, if I'm going to use a normally closed type contacts, means the relays, means in that case, what happens is that initially when I'm going to close this switch, In that case, what your TD will also be closed. TD will also be closed, and this will close this. This will close this. And before that, if you see the second rung, if you see the second rung means already it is in the closed state. So there's a path for the supply to move from the left side to the right side. So this lamp will be in the on state. This lamp will be in the on state. You see the output. Even when the input is low, the output is in the on state. And even once I energize, close the switch also, depending upon my time delay of 10 seconds. For my time delay of 10 seconds, if you see means, this is though it is in the on state because of the on delay timer. This is in the on state itself. My lamp is in the on state itself. So after 10 seconds, this lamp is going to the off state. After 10 seconds, the lamp is instantaneously going to the off state. So this is a on delay for a normally closed type. And this one is a on delay timer for a normally open type of relays. And here also, if it see for a off delay type, when I'm going to make use of a normally open type, relays, this is a normally open type relay. Here, if you see means, when this switch is open, when my S1 is open, my TD will be in the de-energized state. It will be in the de-energized state. And so my light also will be in the off state. But once when I close this switch, and the switch is going to be closed here, my TD will get energized. TD starts energizing, and TD1 will instantaneously respond to it. And here this will also go to the closed state, and here the light will go to the on state. The light will go to the on state. But after when I'm going to put my switch to the open condition. So my timer now goes to the off state. So I'm giving a off delay. A delay of 10 seconds. So once I put my switch in the off state, during that time, it takes a delay of 10 seconds to make my output to go to the low level. That is my lamp going to the switch off condition. This is the timing diagram or the type of output which you'll get. We're going to use an off delay timer along with the normally open type timers. Next one is the off delay timer with a normally closed type. So here we are going to make use of a normally closed type timers. Here we'll take the same example where my switch is open. Also. This rung, the second rung, if you say means it is in the closed path. So it is in the closed path. So since it is in the closed path, what happens is that your supply will be available for the lamp to be in the on state. So initially the lamp will be in the on state. So even if my input is low, my output in the on state only. Now, if I'm going to put my switch to the closed condition, during that time, my TD is going to be energized. This is going to be put in the energized state, and instantaneously TD1 will respond. So this will move to the open condition, putting my lamp to the off condition. My lamp will be put to the off condition. So instantaneously, when I'm going to put my input to the on condition, my output will go to the off condition. But once I open my switch, input, and TD becomes de-energized. During that time, it takes a delay of 10 seconds to go to the off state. So off delay of 10 seconds. So till that it retains the value. And after 10 seconds, it goes to the normal condition where since the second rung is going to be the closed path, my output will be going to the high state. So we are able to see that for an on delay timer and for an off delay timer, depending upon the type of relay which we are going to use, either we get a different timing diagram. We get a different diagram. If we take the on delay timers, means it takes some time to on, but here in this case it takes some time to go into the off. Okay, after the input goes to the off state, it responds. But here if you see, means as soon as the input goes to the on state, your timer is responding. So we'll instead of having full theory, I thought of playing some games also. Can you identify what word this means? Can you identify this word? And it is a connection like thing where you can identify and tell what's happening. What word does this picture mean? Can anyone answer? From this picture, what do you understand? Something related to what the topic we are dealing with. From this picture, what do you understand?
Is it timer, ma'am?
Can anyone answer?
Timer?
It's not timer, sir. No, sir, it's not timer. You're nearer to it.
Counter.
Is okay.
Counter.
Yes, ma'am, counter. Correct,
Counter.
ma'am. Ishwari ma'am has answered. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I'll show the next picture.
Counter.
For this,
Alan Bradley.
Yes, ma'am. Alan Bradley. Yes, ma'am. Correct, ma'am. Ma'am, this. Can anyone identify? Okay, still now I have not touched this topic. It is delta. It is delta. Delta W. Yes, ma'am. Ishwari ma'am, you were about to tell something.
Ma'am, level of hierarchy, madam.
No, ma'am, it is delta, ma'am. Delta WPL. It's a software used for PLC programming.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
This one, sir was telling it correctly.
Timer. Timer, ma'am.
Yes, what Sendil sir first told, it is timer.
Yes.
So
Timer.
timer. This one,
Siemens.
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 Yes. Yes, I think first sir told.
Car told, ma'am. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Siemens. It's C and then comes the mens. So Siemens. Okay. With that, I will again go to the topic. So if you take timers, means timers, when you're going to make use of timers, you can make use of hard circuits, like hardwired circuits. But this circuits, when you're going to make use of hardwired circuits, to activate it, either you'll be making use of some diaphragm or something, some wiring, some adjustment. All these are required when you're going to make use of electromechanical or solid state devices. But if you're going to use software timings, when you're going to use software type of timings, the setting will be easy because you can make any changes if you want to increase or decrease or make some programming changes to it and everything. If you want to get some accuracy, repeatability, all these factors are easily satisfied when we are going to make use of program based timers. So that is the advantage of program based timers. So based on this, I already told that we have two main vendors available for timers for PLCs. That is the Allen Bradley and the Siemens. So Allen Bradley is quite costly, but many industries, they prefer Allen Bradley for their precisions. So here in this case, we are going to study about their product only, where these timers will have 16-bit words. 16-bit words will be available. Out of that, one bit will be for the one word will be for the status. For the one will be for the mentioning the status. So this will be for the mentioning the status, and one will be for the preset value. The third one will be for the accumulated value, to tell about the accumulated value. So you have the enable bit, and then you have the timer timing bit, and then you have the done bit. You have the done bit. So normally when you're going to mention the timing address, they specify the timer file. 4 stands for the timer file, and then they tell about the timer element. 2 stands for the timer element, where the element can vary from 0 to 255. So 0 to 255 timer elements are available. So this is how Allen Bradley's timer will look. Okay. If you see the programming of a timer in Allen Bradley means, and most of the content, if you refer, they normally speak about their products only. For a on delay timer, they specify the file name, and then they specify the time base. That is the duration of time for which you are going to make your timer count. And this is the preset value, and preset value is your content of calculation, content of time calculation. And then this accumulator is going to change based on your time base and on your preset values, time base and your preset value. For example, here I'm going to make use of a time base of 1. Time base is 1, and then I'm going to make use of preset 15 minutes. In that case, the time delay provided will be of 15 seconds. 15 seconds delay will be provided. Now, for example, I'm going to make use of say I'm going to make use of a preset time base of 001, and I'm going to give us 1000 to be my preset value. In that case, what is the time delay generated? Time base is this, and preset is 1000. In that case, what is the delay generated? Can anyone answer?
15 minutes.
15 for given diagram. 15, yes, ma'am. 15 for the given diagram.
Yes.
The question is for a time base.
Time base equal to 0.001, ma'am.
Time base one, it's equal to 0.01. And preset is 1000.
0.01 or 0.001?
0.001. Yes, we have to multiply this preset value with the time base. We have to multiply the preset value with the time base. So for this, what will be the delay? It will be 1 second. It will be equal to 1 second. So what happens is that whatever time base we are going to give, based on the preset value and the time base value, it gets multiplied, and accordingly the time will be generated. For example, I'm going to give my my time base equal to 0.1, time base to be equal to 0.1, and then preset to be equal to 500. In that case, what will be the time delay generated? Can anyone answer? Preset time base is going to be 0.1. My preset is count is going to be 500. In that case, what will be the time delay generated? Yes, ma'am, correct. It is 50 seconds. So 50 seconds will be the time delay generated. So this, if I'm going to, so for this case, I have to make my preset to be equal to 0.1 and a preset to be equal to 500. So accordingly, what happens is that my accumulated value increasing until 500 is reached. That is, it reaches my time after a time delay of 50 seconds. After time delay of 50 seconds, we'll be able to see that this accumulated value will reach the value of 500. Will reach the value of 500. So for that, on delay timers, when you're going to make use of on delay timers, we'll be having initially we'll be having the file name, then we'll specify the time base, then we specify the preset value, then this accumulated value will keep on adjusting. That is about this on delay timers. And you're getting two outputs available. This is called as the enable bit, and this one is called as the done bit. Okay, this is called as the enable, and this one is called as a done bit. Now, if you're going to check these bits, if you're going to check these bits at the by connecting the bits to the run means, we'll be able to find that as soon as I put this in the on state, as soon as you put this in the on state, what happens is that when you're going to turn on, when the input is going to be closed, when the input is going to be closed, and then this is going to this rung is going to be in the closed state. For the timer to be in the on state, this will enable this this will go to the enable state. This output will go to the enable state, and my output B will be in the on state. So this coil will get energized. Coil B will get energized, and this after that, if you see means, while doing the timing operation, this timer timing will be in the true condition. And while running it, while the timer is running, we'll be able to see that this output C will get energized, and that will be in the on state. Next, when you're going to after the timing has been done, the time calculation has been done, this done bit will be energized, and this done bit will go to the true state. This done bit will go to the true state, and this output D will go to the on state. Okay, so once your input is being given for the timer to start to activate, enable bit will go to the on state, and while doing the calculation for the timer calculation, this timer timing bit will be in the on state. And after your full timing duration has been over, during that time my done bit will go to the on state. Okay. So these are the status bits. These are the three status bits available for a timer, be it a on delay timer or a off delay timer. So as I already told, for example, in this case, we are going to take input condition, and the input is going to be in the on state means my timer enable instantaneously goes to the on state. But here in the case of timer timing bit, that also if you see means it will be in the on state for a duration, and this will be in the on state for the time duration of finite time duration. For example, here it's going to be a time base of 1 and preset to be equal to 10 means, in that case 1 into 10 is going to be 10 seconds. It is going to be 10 seconds. So for a duration of only 10 seconds, this will this timing bit, we'll see the timing bit means this should be in the on state. Okay, but here I am going to give a duration only for 4 seconds. So what happens is that after 4 seconds, this is going to the off state itself. And here timer is not done. This part if you see means, if I'm going to see my left half means my timing is not done. My 10 seconds timing is not done. So this done bit will be in the off state itself, And my accumulative value, if you see means it keeps on incrementing. But it does not reach the required 10 seconds duration. And automatically it will reset back. Automatically when your input is low, it will reset back. Okay, so reset back again to the zero value itself. Reset back again to the zero value itself. You have one more timer called as a retentive timer. In the case of retentive timer, It will not reset. It will maintain. It will maintain the past value. So here, one more condition we are going to take, where I'm going to keep the input on for more than 10 seconds. Say I'm going to, in that case, my enable bit will be on here. My timer bit, timing bit, if you see, means that status bit will be on for 10 seconds, and then it goes to the off state. And done bit, if you take the done bit, means now only my done bit is going on. My done bit is going on only after a delay of 10 seconds. And if you take the accumulator also, if you see, means it keeps on incrementing. The accumulator values keeps on incrementing. And once it reaches my 10 seconds value, it is maintaining my 10 as a count. 10 as a count. So this accumulated value indicated here will indicate 10, finally, will indicate 10. The same thing works for a off delay timer also. The same thing will be working for a off delay timer also. So for a off delay timer, same thing. I have a file name, and then I specify my time base, my preset value, and then accumulator keeps on changing here. And here it works as a off delay timer. So once the switch goes to the off state, once the switch here goes to the off state, it gives a delay of, here it's going to give a delay of 15 seconds. 15 seconds delay will be provided. 15 seconds delay will be provided once my switch goes to the off state. Okay, so here we can see once my input switch is going to go to the off state, from true case to false case, it gives a delay based on the time duration calculated. But here, here in our example, it is 1 into 15 is going to be 15. 15 is going to be the time duration. So for a duration of 15 seconds, my timer will be in the timing mode. So after 50 seconds, if you see, means the logic will go off. The logic will go off. That is, it will go to the false state. That is the time when the preset value becomes equal to the accumulator. We'll see a small demo in alarm management program using Delta WPL software. Have you used Delta WPL?
We are using RS Logics, ma'am, in our institution.
Okay.
I don't know about others.
Okay, in that case, I'll create a new program and then I'll show you. So go to new and then create a new project, give a new project. The project name can be alarm management. Can be a alarm management. Here I specify my what type of device and Delta devices. These are Delta is used with Delta PLCs. This can be used for the Delta PLCs. Here we are going to use make use of alarm management. So for example, I have a boiler system, or I have some pressure process or level process. When it's going to go to the overload condition, in that case, some alarm should be given. Such that someone who is maintaining a maintenance operator or someone will be able to come to the plant and then rectify the problem. So the alarm can be like a blinking of LED, or it can be like a buzzer sound, or anything can be used. So here we're going to make use of a alarm condition as a blinking of an LED with the help of a timer. So we're going to make use of timer to do this blinking of LED operation. So here we are going to make use of two timers. We are going to make use of If you take means functions are available like normally open, normally closed. This is open source software which you can open and then use it. And here in this case, if you see means you have this timers. So I'm going to make use of timer relays. We are going to make use of timers initially. So timer one I'm going to use. Timer one I'm going to use in the normally closed condition, and that timer I'm going to connect it to my timer T naught, to my timer uh, T naught. We are going to connect that to the timer T naught. So I'm going to specify my timer and then I tell about the data type, and then about for a delay of say it has to blink. So I'm going to give a delay of 10 seconds, sorry 1 second. So for that I have to mention as 10 and then give OK. And then give OK. So now my first rung is over. First rung is over with T naught. And now I have to go for the second rung. Second rung. For the second rung, I'm going to use of a normally timer one I have used here. So I'm going to use timer 0. Timer 0 I'm going to use as a relay. Here I'm going to connect a timer TMR. Again, I'm going to use one more timer with the same 10 seconds, same 10 seconds. But I have to name it as T1. Like this also I can change it. T1, it's going to be timer 1. The first one is timer 0, second one is timer 1. Timer 1. And next, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make use of a alarming system. Some overload, some sensors. Like for example, a pressure is there. The pressure is should be maintained only within 60 psi. But it is exceeding the 60 psi means I can make use of some pressure sensors to sense it. Okay, so the pressure sensor will be used here. This pressure sensor I'm going to use as X0. These sensors I'm going to use here as X0 value. That gives the alarm. That gives the alarm settings to go to the on state. So X0 is available. I'm using that, and then I'm going to make use of timer. A timer T0 I'm going to make use here, and then this will be connected to the LED light, to the light. Okay. Next rung, one rung later, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to whenever my alarm condition X0 is going to go to the high state and my timer is going to be in the on state, my LED will be blinking. My output Y0 LED will be blinking. But once the operator comes, once the maintenance operator comes, is that some alarm is being created, he switches it off, telling that I'm there to take care of it. So he has to tell that I'm there to take care of it. So for that, he has to press a switch. He has to press that switch. So that switch is taken here as X1. That switch is taken here as X1. And then at the same time, the alarm should be also be activated. Alarms should also be activated. So for that, I will be making use of one output coil telling that the operator has come. So Y0 is telling that the operator has come, and Y1 is telling that it is in the alarm condition. But the operator, till he finishes his job, it should be indicating that the operator is taking care of it. Okay, so till the operator finishes the job, till then it should indicate that the operator is there to take care of it. So for that, we have to go for another one condition, that is Y1. Y1 I'm putting it in the in the closed type. Okay. But here at the same time, when the operator has come to take care, when the operator has come to take care of this, at the same time, the blinking LED should be put in the off state. T0 should be put in the off state. So for that, here I'm going to make use of one more condition. That is, I'm going to make use of Y1. I'm going to make use of Y1, telling that the operator has come to take care of it. Okay, I'm closing it, telling that the operator has come to take care of it. And then I'm ending my program. Okay, this is a simple program for alarm management. But before that, we have to make use of start button, stop button. All these are required. So now we have written with just without that start buttons and stop buttons. Once the plant is put in the on state, you should put the start button telling that the operator, the plant is in the on state. See to it that any alarm condition has been created. Make the LED on. So that start button, stop button should also be included here. So I'm going to compile this. Compilation is over. I'm putting it in the simulation mode. And then I'm downloading my program. And then I'm putting it in the online mode. Now I'm going to run my PLC. Now we can see that timer is, I have used a closed relay here. I used a open relay at the second run. Okay, so timer is continuously running. If I make use of a counter here, I can count the number of times the timer is going to go to the on state and the off state. Here now timer is just running, but if you see the output means it is not excited. The output Y0 and Y1 has not excited. Say for example, now the pressure has exceeded the limit of 60 psi, 60 pounds per square inch. In that case, the sensor, the pressure sensor X0 will sense the data. So I'm going to set it on. Once the pressure sensor senses that the pressure has exceeded the limit of 60 psi, now the alarm Y0 is turning on. It is blinking. You can see that the Y0 is blinking. So from that we can identify that the operator will come to know. Instead of blinking LED, it can be a sound also. So the operator will come to know that there is some mistake in the plant, and he has to go and then do the maintenance work. So once he realizes that, the operator will go to the plant and then he will put on the S1 switch. So this switch, he will, once he sets it on, you can see that the blinking has stopped. Now the alarm has been put to the stop state. So now the operator is taking care of it. Now whoever comes to visit the plant, he can identify that some alarm has been created, and the operator is now taking care of it. So that condition can be identified from this output. And after that, what will happen is that once the operator is taking care of this, what will happen? The alarm will go to the offset. It is going below 60 degrees, 60 psi means, in that case, the alarm automatically will go to the off state. So once it goes to the off state, you can see the LED Y0 and Y1 is going to the off state. And now the operator will also tell that I finished my job. Now the plant is working in the normal condition without any. The timer is also continuously running. The timer T0 and T1 is continuously running to check for the next alarm condition. So whenever once again, if the pressure is going to increase beyond 60 psi, then pressure sensor X0 will sense it and then put it to the on state, putting my LED in the blinking state. Again, the operator will go there, take care of it to bring it to the normal condition until his maintenance work is over. Both will be in the high state. And once his maintenance work is over, both will go to the off state. So like this, the timer can be used. It's an example. I just want to tell you one example where timer can be used for alarm management, for some industrial applications. This is the program. Next is the retentive timer. As I already told that we have one more timer called as a retentive timer. And if we take the retentive timer means this retentive timer is normally used in the case of when we want to stop in the middle. Okay, when some power issue or something is there, the device goes to the off state also. It retains the previous value. It retains the previous value, and from that accumulated value it again starts incrementing. Until it reaches your final preset value. So in that case, you have to intentionally reset the output. This one just to show an example, picture has been given. So for example, here this lobe has been put here, means this both should go to the closed state, but if it is going to stop somewhere here, this portion is going to be maintained only until it again rotates, and then the motor again rotates, and then for the higher end to come in contact with, so that the contact will get closed. Okay. So retentive timers are expressed as RTOs. And for retentive timer, we make use of the reset. Reset instruction is also required for the retentive type of timers. Others all same only. It will hold its accumulated value. When the power run goes to the off state also. Okay, we'll continue with this. So retentive timers, if you see, means we should be reset using this reset instruction. Reset instruction should be used to reset the retentive timers. So as I already told, somewhere here the input has gone to the low state. During that time also, it retains this value. It automatically, in the previous case when we saw, it was resetting. Okay, if your timer is not reaching the required value of 10 seconds. 10 seconds is your timer delay. In that case, it automatically resets again to zero value. Here at 4 seconds itself, it is going back to the zero value itself because my input has gone to the off state. But in the case of retentive timers, it is able to retain the previous value. Even if my input goes to the false condition. That is the advantage of retentive timers. So normal retentive timers are used similar to the normal timer only. And here in this case, there's whenever the switch for the pressure switch, same thing only, pressure switch is used here. So whenever the switch is going to go to the on state, the enable will be activated. And here after a preset value of 60 means, in that case, to give a delay of 60 seconds means it should be 0.00. Your time delay should be 0.001. In that case, your time will be 60 seconds. So here, this is going to go to the on state. This will go to the on state, putting the horn through state, putting the horn to the horn coil energized. The horn coil will be energized, and the horn will be activated in the output. Now in the middle, if the pressure is increasing, suddenly if it decreases also, it gets over pressure condition, a cumulative condition of pressure. After that, if the pressure exceeds 60, whatever is the limit, even if it exceeds also, automatically it retracts the previous information also in the case of retentive time of timers. Okay. And next one is the cascading of timers. So more than one timers, we can combine more than one timers can also be cascaded with the help of cascading time of timers. So combining of more than one timers is also possible to run more than 2 or 3 motors. That is possible with the help of cascading timers. So timers can also be used in the application of traffic light. This is a basic application of timers in PLCs. And next one is the counters. Next, with this timer is over. Next, we'll go to the counters. So counters normally is used for applications like this, where you want to count some event. So counting of some event can be done with the help of counters. Countings of some event can be done with the help of counters. So this can be done by making use of some counting commands. Counting commands can be used. So if a gate is through the gate, entry gate, one car is entering through that means, in that case, the counter should be incremented by one. Incremented by one. If one car is leaving through the exit means, in that case, the count should be decremented by one value. So to see to it that the garage is filled or not. Garage is filled or not. So that accordingly, the car parking has to be automated. Car parking can be automated with the help of counters. So if you take counters also will have same thing. The status bits are available. It has three 16-bit registers, status bits, preset value, and the accumulated value. And here it makes use of 6 status bits are available. It makes use of in the case of counters. So similarly, same thing only. C stands for counter and 5 stands for the file name, and 2 stands for the counter element. The element is being used, and value has been reached, the preset equal to the preset value, done bit will be enabled. And count up enable means if it is doing the, it is true when the counter is counter is in the true state, counter up counter is in the true state. And this down counter enable bit will be enabled when it is down counting is in the enable form, and the overflow bit will be true whenever the count is overflowed above plus 32K, and this underflow bit will be enabled when this goes below 32K. Okay, so when it is going to go below 32K, 32K means it may 32K is going to be so maximum makes use of 64K. That is, it makes use of 16 bits. 16 bits is being used here. And these are the status bits, and status bits can be addressed by making use of these instructions. This the count up and count down and high speed counters are available. Counter resets are available. So these are different functions of counters that can be used, similar to the timers. It is going to just count the event, count the event. So here I'm going to, in the preset value, we specify the count value that has to be counted. That will be specified here. That is the difference between counter. And this is mentioned as CTUs. CTU stands for up counters. CTU stands for the up counters. And CTD, D stands for down counter. D stands for the down counter operation. So your cumulative value, it's just decrements. It just decrements until it reaches the preset value. Even clearing of counters will also be used. You have commands given to clear the counters. Clear counters is also commands are available. So we'll see one example. Develop a ladder logic will turn on LED after a switch has been closed 10 times. The switch has to be closed 10 times. Okay. The switch, if it's going to be closed for 10 times, in that case, the light should be turned on. The light should be turned on. At the same time, I make use of push button to reset the counter also. So this statement of operation can be performed very simply with the help of counters. So here, this is for the reset. So reset timer is available. But before that, we have to tell about the counters also. Counter, if I'm going to give some input, switch is going to be put in the on state, means the counter will start counting to a maximum of 10 counts. So here, once it is put, that will turn on a LED after. The command is after. So after means we have to make use of the done bit. We have to make use of the done bit to excite the LED. So here I'm making use of the done status bit to excite the LED after a count of 10. At the same time, I making use of a reset switch also. Reset switch is also available to reset the counter. So I have to specify the counter name that I'm going to use. So this specification has to be given. And similarly, for example, develop a program. That is, it has to, for every 20 seconds, the timer should be put to on state. And here, for third time, when the timer is going to be put to the put to on state for 20 seconds. In that case, the output will be unlatched. The output B should be unlatched. Okay. So here also, the input A should be turned on for 20 seconds. So for that, if you see, means we're going to make use of a lamp here. And it is similar to a alarm management switch. You can see that it is closed here. Alarm management, we saw a diagram where I'm going to close my timer 1 means that is connected to T0 timer. If I'm going to make use of open type of timer 0 means is connected to timer 1. So this is a blinking type of output. It has an on state, off state, on state, and an off state. So I'll be getting output like this. So according to that, my lamp will turn on. And off and on and off. Out of that, I have to take only 3 counts of that. Once it reaches the third count, during that time, my output will be activated. Output B should be activated. Okay, so for that I am going to make use of again done bit of my counters. Okay. So like this, any simple logic program can be done by making use of timers and counters by understanding the statement each word by word. Okay. So this time is not there. I thought of giving a small demo on Codesys software also. Because of lack of time, I'm not moving to that part. Codesys is a DCS software by Forbes Marshall. So they are providing that software. Where here also in this Codesys software also we can make use of timers. We can make use of the timers, counters, on delay timer, off delay timer. All these timers are can be used as a. It can be like writing the program either as a instruction wise, or it can be written as a ladder like diagram like, or it can be written as a functional block diagram. So anything can be used. Okay, I will can you find this word? Can you find this word? What word this means? Identify the word. Can anyone identify this word? Just combine these and then find the word. I've spoken about this word in my session. Okay, I'll tell the answer. It is accumulator. Acupuncture, they use, from that I've taken the word it is later. So this word is, ma'am, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
This word is okay, sir.
Yes.
This word is accumulated. This word is accumulator. What about this? This word also I've told in my lecture. What word is this? What word is this? This word also used in my lecture. Yes, Murugaraj sir.
Madam, clock pulse.
Clock pulse, no sir. Clock is okay, but pulse. Anyway, I didn't mean that word.
Okay, madam.
But pulse we can't sell. This you can see the arrow mark. Where the arrow mark is.
Center left.
Okay, the try was good, sir. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll tell the word. It is time base.
Base.
Name called as time, and then base. You can see the arrow mark from that. Okay, everywhere it is at the base only. So this is for time base. This, can anyone identify this word? Yes, ma'am.
Refresh. Refresh. Scan.
Fresh, I didn't use the
Scan.
word. Scan also I didn't use.
Scan.
I didn't use that word.
Madam, recycle, reuse, madam.
Recycle somewhere, you're coming nearer. No, sir. I didn't use the word recycle. It was a word which I used in my lecture.
I'm searching.
Searching, no, sir. Actually, when you're going to use retentive timers, we make use of this.
Madam, clockwise.
Clockwise, no, sir.
Reset.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir. Reset. You told?
Myself. Reset.
Yes, sir. It is reset, sir. That is for our retentive timers, we reset the data.
Congratulations, doctors.
Sir, this word? This word is difficult. Can you find it? Now I use that word. Recently I spoke that word also. Can anyone find this?
Retentive.
Ah, yes, ma'am, correct. It is retentive.
Thank you.
This word? This word also I used it continuously. It is not a word. It is a combination of 3 words. Okay. It is a combination of 3 words. First one stands for, can you find? At least last diagram, last picture.
Binary.
Binary, still closer.
Byte, ma'am.
Byte, still closer, ma'am. I didn't speak about byte in my lecture.
Upright, ma'am.
Upright, no, sir. Okay,
Some clue, madam.
last one stands for bit. First one stands for, I was telling about the status bits. I was telling about status bits. available for timers and counters.
Done bit.
Yes, sir, correct, sir. Senthil sir has answered it. It is done with. Next one is, okay, that may be difficult. It is done bit, done and enable bit. Done and enable bit. So these are the status bits that will be used. This one, this word I used only once in my lecture. Finally, I used it in my lecture. It was a software. Can anyone find it?
Codesys.
Yes, sir. Codesys, sir. Correct, sir. It is Codesys software. Code and sys sister. For sister, it is sys. Codesys. Okay, I thought of doing this program for Codesys, but because of lack of time, the same program only, which it took as task one. Task one, the same conveyor belt. If I start now, it may take another half an hour. The same conveyor belt can be done using the Codesys software by making use of timers. So one example where Codesys can be done. We can write programs like, I just want to tell you that programs can also be written as functional blocks. It need not be like a ladder diagrams. We can make use of RS flip-flops. We can make use of rising triggers, AND gates, OR gates, NOT gates, and all these we can make use when you're going to make use of functional block type of writing a program. So this option is available when using writing programs in Codesys. So these are my references. Thank you. If you have any queries, you can ask now. I stop my presentation with this.
Participants, if there is any queries? Ma'am, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
That's actually a very good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Participants, if there is no queries, we'll wind up some chat like wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. If you have any queries, you can ask.
Ma'am, please share the PPTs in the mail, ma'am.
Oh, okay, sir.
We'll share it to the participants in the WhatsApp group. We'll have a group and share.
Sure, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks.
The participants' afternoon session starts at 2:30. Kindly join at 2:20 now. And send your feedback for the morning session as well, 2 sessions, first and the second session. The same feedback link, we have to change the date and the session only. So the link is same. We thank on behalf of our institution, and I thank ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.